Hello and welcome to part two of marketing with Instagram. And let's dig right into this because it's funny. I do have more slides here than I did for Facebook. Facebook, it took a very high level overview. Here, I have to get slightly more granular because I need to dig into the differences between all the posts. So we essentially have four different basic levels of post everybody uses. It is, I should have just put them on its own slide, but it's these four at the top: single posts, reels, carousels, and stories. All right, a single post is a one image post. This is what Instagram was built on. It is it was the foundation, the building block of the platform, and it remains pretty popular today. But then any photo post with more than one photo, that's a carousel. That can right now it's up to 20 photos. You can now intersperse videos in there with the posts with the photos, and you can add music. These are fairly recent developments. Originally, it was one photo. Then I believe you could go up to five, and then it was 10, and now it's 20. Again, this has been a gradual shift over the last 16 years or 15 years or so, from posting a single photo that you could put a filter on to now posting multiple types of media, photos and videos. Add another element, the audio, and you can do up to 20 of them. There's a lot that can go on in one single post. I say one single post, in a carousel post. Then you have reels. Those are your classic vertical videos. These are fundamentally different from a horizontal video. If you do the 16:9 high def version video and you upload it to Instagram, it's going to put it in a regular post. It's not going to upload it as a reel. It's kind of similar to what YouTube does. If you're familiar with uploading videos to YouTube, if you upload a vertical video to YouTube and it's under the time limit for a short, it automatically uploads it as a short. With Instagram, the same applies here. Instagram prefers Reels. It pushes Reels a lot more, but it's not the same thing. These are vertical 916 videos, taking up the whole screen, and of course, it's a separate viewing experience than the traditional Instagram scroll. Then you have stories. Those are 24-hour clips and posts that you can put. They appear at the top of your Instagram homepage when you're looking at the app, and you can see all the people. It's running across the top of your app. All the people that have most recently posted those. It used to be a chronological thing where if you followed 500 people, you would see the most recent stories posted. But now it is no longer necessarily like that. You see the people that you are close friends with first, and Instagram knows who are your closest allies on the platform. So those are our four basic types, and you can see here in general when to use them. I would argue the single post is pretty straightforward. And reels are for all videos. I personally, this isn't, I'm sure you could find supporting arguments and also, arguments against this. I don't think there is any reason for a horizontal 16:9 video on Instagram anymore. I also don't think, obviously that doesn't work on TikTok. I think 16:9 classic horizontal videos are only of any use on YouTube anymore. I don't think it's worth posting anywhere else. So I think reels are important. Reels too. Reels are an interesting type of content because similar to what we talked about with the different posts, these have evolved over time, like big time. Reels started as short, I think they were 1 minute clips, maybe 15 seconds, I don't remember. But you can upload a reel up to, I think, 15 or even 60 minutes now. but those are only going to reach your immediate following. It's only going to really, help expand your reach if they are within 3 minutes. If a reel is longer than 3 minutes, Instagram's not going to what they call recommend it. It's not going to, a lot of times if you are on Instagram and you watch reels, you're probably used to seeing a lot of reels from people that you've never heard of. There are a lot of creators that you see now on your reels, and it's like, I don't know who this is, but it's funny, like it, or it's, it's fun. It's that my kind of thing. If you ever want your brand or even your personal account to ever reach a new audience, this has been the case for a little over a year now. Um, and really it's been discussed at length. They claim that the sweet spot for a reel is 90 seconds, and I personally have seen success with anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 minutes, 45 seconds to 2 minutes. But you can see here, when to use those different types of content. Now, if you want examples of that content, here are some options. I would argue too that the single posts and reels and carousels, those are all for expanding your network. Stories are really just for your followers. You're not going to see stories from brands you don't follow, or at least not yet. So keep stories as like the ace in the hole. That's the stuff that you reserve for people that already follow you, for your brand advocates. I do think carousels are good for as engagement bait. If you want to drive up engagements and get people to swipe or scroll to the next image, carousels offer an opportunity for that. Then you have reels; those are just all the videos. Videos to with reels, by default, you're not gonna see reels in their full form, that full 916 form when you're in the general Instagram feed. You have to click on it or go to or click on one of the reels in order to see it in its element. So they will appear on your feed, but they're just not. You're not in that reels format from the get go. But then finally, you have single post. Back to the single post thing. If there's something you can fit in one graphic, that is what the single post is for. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think this is a good place to pause. There's going to be two videos left. There's one that looks at the rest of the world of Instagram, including really the differences between personal pages, personal accounts, and business accounts. And then we'll also kind of look at more Instagram strategy. Why doesn't Instagram work for companies? Because you see all these different content formats, right? There's a lot here. There are tons of options. And this is not even everything. These are just basic, things that you probably have already seen a bunch. This is only the first step. So why do companies struggle so much with Instagram like Facebook? We'll dig into that. But then we're going to, again, the last video will look at the future of the meta universe, not metaverse, the meta universe. What's coming next? Because Instagram, as you know, was bought by Facebook years ago. But also, Reels and Stories are not Instagram's and Meta's original IP. These are content formats that they took from other platforms. Stories came before Reels. Stories started on Snapchat. The idea was that Snapchat was a very quick, they called it ephemeral marketing, where you would get a quick snapshot of something or someone. Brands really struggled on to figure out how to use that. Instagram and the whole Meta group figured out that, hey, the way to implement this is just to add it. It's not the only with Snapchat. That was how Snapchat worked. Like that's what it was. And Instagram just integrated it into a larger product mix, into a larger feature mix. And it ended up working really well. LinkedIn and Twitter both tried stories as well, but both of those kind of fell by the wayside. Neither of those are working anymore, but you see Instagram stories still very much alive and kicking. And then you add Reels. Reels started on TikTok, and not just the idea of a vertical video, but the full immersion. Where on TikTok, you open the app and you are looking at a video, and you swipe up or down to go to the next video, and that's it. There's other tabs, and there's a store on TikTok, but on Instagram now, again, it doesn't change the original feature, the original function, the original scroll that where you see single post and carousels, but you can very easily end up in the real world by clicking on the video, seeing the full thing, and then you're in it where you're doom scrolling. You're scrolling up and down, you're looking at these videos that are being delivered to you using a very complex algorithm based on the content that you have engaged with or watched at length in the past. So that's where I'm going to pause now. Again, we'll dig more into this, but be sure to check out this. Be sure to understand the different use cases for these different forms of content, and then we'll be on our way to the next part in developing a good Instagram strategy.